Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Money Down Pod. That is Sean White. I am Kayvon Izami. Thank you for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter at the Money Down Pod. This is a free agency talk here. Just a quick little snippet of it. We're going to do a much bigger version of the free agency talk. As I said in the March Madness preview, if you go tune that in, I'm on vacation, so in a new area right now, audio might be a little bit bad. So when I get back, we'll do a much more in detailed free agency, and also we'll have a lot more details then. Like, will Deshaun Watson be going to my Atlanta Falcons, or will he be going to the Saints or Cleveland, and where everything else moves from there? But until then, there is some stuff that we do need to talk on, including Sean's Jacksonville Jaguars making some very big moves, like taking the Atlanta Falcons middle linebacker Foye Oluokun, who led the league in tackles, by the way. Love that addition for you guys. We'll get into it, all of that stuff here. First of all, Sean, winners and losers. Who are some of your winners so far through free agency?
First off, I'm so glad you pronounced his name because I have not figured out how to yet, so that's good.
Foye Oluokun, baby.
Okay, so winners and losers, I know a lot of people probably expect me to go Jags, and we'll talk about them. I do think they're in the winner category. I think the biggest winner, you got to look at the Chargers.
Easily.
Chargers are going all in. J.C. Jackson, you got him to pair with Asante Samuel Jr. now. Your outside should be good with Derwin playing safety. Everyone doubles and chips Bosa. Can't do that anymore. You got Khalil Mack, who's a different animal when he's on a contending team. I can see him putting some major effort forward. And they've been bad at run defense. They were a terrible run defense. And while Khalil Mack can't get to the quarterback, he is a great, probably the best edge defender when it comes to stopping the run as well to his side. Yes. I think they screwed up their defense, which was a big problem. And it's now opened them up to be able to go and draft maybe a speed receiver or maybe draft another D tackle to go along. They have very few holes. They have Herbert on a rookie deal. And you look at the Chargers, they're trying to contend for a Super Bowl at this point. That's what these moves state, and that's what they're going to have a chance to do. I love all the moves the Chargers have made so far. They've made a massive improvement.
Completely agree. The Chargers are number one. It's not even close. And I saw some people out there talking about how they're spending too much money. This is what you do when you have a rookie QB. Like, now I even saw that with you guys, that you're spending too much money. And even though later on when we have a disagreement about Kirk, it's going to sound like I'm saying you're spending too much money, but I'm just talking about on that one player. You need to spend money. Spend the money. When you have a rookie on a rookie deal, a rookie QB on a rookie deal, you have money to spend for a reason. J.C. Jackson's a huge get. It's a massive, massive winner. Like, everything they did to me is a big-time winner. And now the biggest thing that comes out of it, and this is much deeper talk, the pressure's on Brandon Staley. Fully. It is fully on Brandon Staley now. He's got his pieces on defense. They have to make the playoffs. Obviously, pressure on Justin Herbert as well. That's one of the winners. The next winner to me is the Bucs. And I know that's pretty simple. Brady comes back. They keep Godwin. I mean, Sean, it felt like it was 2 months ago. Me and you were like 99% sure Godwin was leaving. Like, I mean, that's just what everything was reported. And it just felt like he was leaving. I just got a tweet. I just saw a tweet from Adam Schefter that not only is he not leaving, they just came up together with a long-term deal. I think he just got a 3-year deal worth like 3-year deal, $60 million. That includes $40 million guaranteed. Like, he's staying. They signed Russell Gage for 33 years, $30 million. Like, look, Russell Gage is a very good receiver. And like, he will be a perfect safety blanket for Tom Brady and being able to have him. They trade for Shaq Mason to the Patriots, who I think will be really good for their defense. Like, the Patriots did a bunch of little things. They re-signed Ryan Jensen. I know they lost a couple of O-linemen and all that stuff, but overall, they got better offensively. They got Brady back. They were able to bring some players back in their cornerback and in their linebacker core and all that stuff with Shaq Mason. As I said, to me, they're a big-time winner.
Yeah, no, completely agree, because Shaq Mason's a guard, right? I'm pretty sure he's a guard.
Guard, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so they did that perfectly, in my opinion. They brought Brady back, and they lost both their starting guards, and their center was up for free agency. They signed their center back, and they replaced their 2 guards they lost with one of the better guards in the league from the Patriots. Now I can see them going in the draft and getting a good rookie with their draft pick. Interior O-line's deep in the draft, as we talk on our draft pod a lot. They're gonna replace those offensive guards and be a solid O-line again for Brady to make another run. Getting Godwin back is huge. Godwin and Evans on the outside, still one of the best tandems you can ask for. Obviously, Gronk will be back as long as Brady's there. That's how they're going to do things. Really like what the Buccaneers did as well. I think if we're looking at Denver's had a really good offseason too. If you're going to throw in Russell Wilson, I think they've improved tremendously, especially now with Gregory and DJ Jones on that D line now. That D line is more elite. I like what they've done. I think they're a higher up team on that. I'm going to get to Wentz and the Commanders later. We're going to probably talk about Wentz for a good 5-10 minutes or so. Real big Wentz topic on that. So I think they've done well as well when we get to that. Now I'm going to get into the Jags now because I think they've done a good job as well. Everyone's kind of roasting the Jags about spending money. Well, guess what? That's what happens when you lose as many games as the Jags have lost. You got to spend money to get people, and there's only 2 ways to improve. You either got to spend the money or draft well, and you kind of got to do a combo of both at this point. The team had too many holes, but I do like the moves they made. I really, really love the Scherf pickup.
Best move.
Picking up an all-pro, Pro Bowl type lineman at guard really shores that up. We're going to a zone blocking scheme. I know Doug Peterson loves to run the ball and really blast those holes the guard makes and pull those guards around. Scherf's going to do a great job at that. Love that signing. I'm a big proponent of the Christian Kirk signing. I like the Kirk signing. The money is high, I know, and we'll break that down. Me and you are going to butt heads on that. The money's high. But what Christian Kirk brings is something that, number one, Trevor Lawrence does well, and number two, Doug Peterson has to have in his offense. We saw him with Wentz have Nelson Aguilar be great out of the slot, the speed slot, running slot fade type plays, slot across the field, down the field type plays. Aguilar was a threat. That's the role Christian Kirk's going to play. He's going to play that slot speed guy. And we saw Trevor Lawrence make those throws several times. So people like Jamal Agnew and Tavon Austin that were just dropped or routes were run wrong. And now he's not going to have to worry about that because he has a solid player in Kirk. Obviously, your boy Oluokun, the dude's a monster at tackling. They let go of Miles Jack, who has been kind of declining the last 2 years, if we're being honest. And I love the pickup of Foy. And then the defensive tackle we got from the Jets. I know a lot of people say we overpaid. What we did with that Oluokun signing and the D tackle is we prepared for our division. We played Derrick Henry twice. We played Jonathan Taylor twice. Having that big run-stuffing D tackle that wins on run plays and then having Oluokun back there to make those tackles, that's a big divisional play. I love those 2 moves as well. They had to spend the money to get people there. I love what the Jags did, and they're a big winner for me in free agency as well.
Yeah, no, the Jags are a winner as well. Everything but, like I said, the Kirk deal, and it's not that. I'll get into that more in just a minute. I love the Oluokun signing. I think it's great. Like, I think that he is a tackle machine, and like you said, you have to prepare for the division. I think the Evan Ingram deal is an all reward, zero risk. Evan Ingram has been one of the most disappointing players in the drafts in recent memory because of his talent. The guy was so talented coming out of Ole Miss, and he was so talented in his first year in the Giants, and he hasn't lived up to it. Sometimes all you need is a fresh start, and this guy could be a Pro Bowl tight end this year. Like, it's that simple. So I love that. Like you said, the Scherf signing is huge. Trevor Lawrence is a massive winner because of that. So to me, Jacksonville all-out winner. Now, the part about the Christian Kirk here, and real quick, we'll get into the losers in a second. I'll go into that. Christian Kirk, to me, is just an average receiver. So, like, I know you're going to come back with different stats and stuff to prove it, but at the end of the day, my argument is just very simple. And this is going to sound crazy to some people, and it's going to be spot on to others. I don't value Christian Kirk much more than Russell Gage. Like that honestly, when I tweeted this out months ago, that I honestly thought, because I was thinking we could maybe bring Russell Gage back, and I said we have to see what Kirk gets, and that's how to compare Russell Gage. that I literally thought that they would be getting identical type deals. That's kind of when then I saw that and I said, what the hell? And the whole world broke it down. The guys had never gone over 1,000 yards receiving in a season. He's had 4 total 100-yard games. And we have to remember, this is all with having an ex-receiver in Hopkins that you guys do not have. That's the big thing here. So he's had the people away, like taking defenders away from him in y'all's offense, unless you get someone with that 33rd overall pick that can immediately become an ex-receiver. He's going to have all the attention. He will be the guy. When you pay that much money, that's who it's going to be. And to be paying him, even though it's over a 2-year deal, it's still just $5 million less than what Devontae Adams, the Packers would be paying Devontae Adams if they franchise tagged him over the next 2 seasons. So, like, even though it's a 2-year deal, it's still so much money for a 2-year deal. And I just think it would, and even though Allen Robertson's asking for a ton, I think he would have been more valuable to Lawrence in that offense, because I just think he is a pure, way better receiver by miles. Like, I just do not value Kirk as a receiver worth that money. If you guys gave him a Russell Gage deal, I'd be standing here saying that you had a better free agency than the Chargers almost. Like, so that's how good I like all your other pieces. I just think the Kirk is just the biggest head scratcher I've seen in a long, long time. And I would be worried to trust him. And the fact that already Jags fans are saying it's only a 2-year deal right there tells me, like, 2 years and then what? He doesn't perform and you cut him? Like, that's a bad way to be thinking about that if that's already something that could be a possibility.
Well, I think that's more of a defense mechanism, because everyone's like, you gave him $84 million.
Yeah,
when in reality, you didn't give him $84 million. It's like with incentives that can get up there.
Yeah.
It's really a 4-year 72, but really all the guarantees in the first 2 years. Really, it's a team-friendly deal, so you can get off of him, but the big amount of money is in the 2 years. I understand what you're saying.
Real quick, for all NFL contracts, by the way, people should really just look at the guaranteed money anyways. Because, like, a lot of these deals are like that, man. I mean, but like, you can get out of these deals after the guarantee's over for a lot of them. So it's a good point to make. So
here's the thing about it. The wide receiver market dried up quick. Let's be real. Godwin got tagged. Adams obviously got tagged. All these elite receivers don't hit the market really. Allen Robinson's hitting the market because he had a down year in Chicago, but he's asking for like 20 some million, and he's turning 30. Here's the thing about Christian Kirk that I do like, and here's why I'll defend the deal. It's a scheme fit thing. And I know he hasn't had the 1,000 yards. He had 9. It was close this year. He had like 960, I want to say, somewhere around there. This was the first year they played him predominantly in the slot. And sometimes you just get a player and you try to make him do things that he's not able to do. And they played him outside a lot when he first got there. And I don't think he's an outside receiver. I think he's a speed slot guy. And what he's doing is we're paying him for a projection to what he can be. And I like that for a 25-year-old guy that if we're getting to analytic stats, his DVOA and DVOY and all that, he's actually like top 6, 7 in the league. His advanced analytic stats are really good. So that's kind of where I'm talking about that I like the deal from. I know it's a lot of money, but I mean, the wide receiver market gets paid a lot of money, and he's the only guy out there other than A-Rob. And in Doug Peterson's system, the speed slot is important. It's an important part of his system. So I understand where Doug's coming from about wanting him. That's the reports out that Doug Peterson was the guy that wanted Christian Kirk. So I kind of got to ride with him on that. I love putting him in the slot and letting him play that Aguilar role. I think he's a much better player than Aguilar, in my opinion.
Better be.
25. He's 25. He's going to get better. That's what I think. And if you really look at it, this is another way to look at it as a Jags fan. He's replacing Tavon Austin and Jamal Agnew. I mean, I know he's getting paid a lot. If you don't think that's an upgrade to what we had, sometimes you just got to overpay, man. And it is an overpayment. I'm not going to lie. Would I like to have it for $2-3 million a year less? I would. But sometimes you got to overpay for a guy. And I do think he has big upside to be a lot better than those first 3 so years in the league really put him at, because he was playing out of position, in my opinion. He's going to kill the seams. And like you mentioned, Evan Ingram's going to get a lot of seam balls. That's what Doug does in his offense. Him and Kirk are going to own seam plays. That's just what it's going to be. I like the fit. I want to see him perform this year. But as all the Jags fans have been doing whenever people come at him, it is true. If he does underperform, you cut him in 2 years. Our cap space is still – we have $60 million in cap next year, even with all these deals we signed. That's kind of how it goes. He's one of our bigger cap hits for the next year. If he plays bad in the 2, he'll be gone in the 3rd. That's how it is. And that's what bad teams have to do to get out of the cellar. I can't fault people for spending money and trying to get out of there. And I do think we have to draft an X, like you said. That's going to be important because we do need an outside receiver for Trevor. But I do like the Christian Kirk deal because on the market, really, he was the best speed slot guy we could get, in my opinion.
So I get, and so if your argument is that, then I can't really argue that because it's what you just said. It's you guys are signing him hoping that it performs, and it's just that's a lot of money hoping that it happens, and maybe it will happen. It's just to me, he has not shown me anything that it will happen. But like I said with Evan Ingram, we've seen thousands of times in the NFL where someone goes to a new spot and they blow up. They do great. Maybe he should be the number 1 guy. Maybe that's the issue, that he wasn't the number 1 guy. Maybe he should be that. Who knows? I just have not seen enough in his game, in his skill set to show that he was worth that much. But if you're arguing that it's all for the upside and hopefully it hits, I mean, you can't argue that because you're right. Maybe hopefully it does happen, you know?
It's a scheme fit. He played great in the slot. He graded out as one of the best slot receivers last year.
I know, but still not worth that money. Like,
and here's the money thing though too. Let me put this into perspective. If you go based off of it, it's like a $17 million a year deal. He's basically getting paid Robert Woods' contract from 2 years ago, and the cap's going to explode. Wide receiver movement happens. That's what it is. You would think he'd be like more 15-ish right there if you're thinking that 13 to 15. But that's what happens. Inflation happens. Dak Prescott's getting $40 million to play quarterback. That's how it goes. These people just re-up deals. I think Devontae Adams is going to get paid a lot of money. Really.
And he deserves it.
And he deserves it. Amen.
Deserves it, for sure.
I think that's what's happening with the market.
I just would want to know if there was anyone even remotely close to offering that. I just want to know, did you guys jump the gun because you wanted him so bad or where his market value is at all? Because teams are clearly not even coming anywhere near what A-Rob wants. And if the market value is so high on receivers, and teams are so receiver needy, you would think, okay, well, someone would do this to A-Rob. And I get it. It's different positions, older, all that stuff, but it's still a wide receiver that has had 1,000-yard seasons with Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback, and teams are sitting there saying, nah, we're good. So I want to know, was there other teams, a bunch of teams biting the bit for Kirk, and you guys just said, whoa, don't even get near our guy, or did you just jump the gun for the hell of it? Like, that's what I want to know.
Well, I know the Browns and the Jets, I think, were in on him. I think we paid a Jacksonville tax. Let's be honest. We paid a tax because we're Jacksonville. Because we've won 4 games in the last 2 years. So I completely get that if the Browns or something's like, yeah, here's $14 million, and we're like, oh no, we're going to give you $2 million more a year. Come to us. We need you. I get it. Like I said, we're out here. This is the argument we're having about it. It's money thing.
Yeah,
we have money to spend. We got to spend it on somebody. So that's
good.
I love the back and forth though, because I do agree with you. That is a head scratching contract. Zay Jones is a little head scratcher for me as well. I thought Zay Jones got paid a lot, but his is a lot smaller, and it's over 2 years again. So he's a lot.
I actually think Zay Jones showed some promise towards the end of last year. I think that he could be somewhat of a safety net for Lawrence, like he was to Carr towards the end of the year. Let's move on to some losers here, because I think there's a very big loser, and I think it's the New England Patriots. I have Patriots fans that are absolutely freaking out right now. They are sitting here saying the Browns gave up a 6th-round pick for Amari Cooper. Belichick, you couldn't offer a 5th, to just get in the way? I had Patriots fans wanting Russell Gage so bad. That's where it came, that they wanted Russell Gage because they haven't gotten anyone else. Not only are they not getting anyone, they're just letting people walk left and right. And this is the way Bill Belichick does it. But when you have a rookie quarterback, when you have a young quarterback, not only are you letting not bringing skill position players, he's letting offensive linemen go. That's not usual for Belichick. Usually Belichick at least will get the offensive line right. I think the Patriots. I'm so confused on what the Patriots are doing.
I completely agree. The Patriots are really confusing me as well. Do you know they don't have an offensive coordinator? And I'm
It's
hearing.
insane.
Have you heard the rumors that Belichick's gonna call offense?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's so strange.
yeah.
I know he's in on all the meetings and
All so
everything like
strange.
that. But can you see Belichick just running the ball like 35 times a game like it's the 1980s? Like I could see that happening like right now. I think it's so odd. Again, this is a team they spent big last year and got applauded for it, and now like that's what another comparison to the Jags I thought was weird. We're getting roasted for spending a lot of money when the Patriots did this last year and got applauded. But
Well, I
now,
think the difference in that is I don't think we've ever seen the Patriots spend money like that.
yeah,
You guys have spent money numerous times, but it is a little weird because they're both rookie quarterbacks and all that stuff. But I get your point.
now the Patriots are letting their better players go, which is kind of strange as well. It's like the Jags don't have any really great players to sign, to be honest. That's where they're at. That's why they're spending so much. The Patriots will let Shaq Mason go. Shaq Mason's a top 5 guard in the league, top 7, something like that. You look at Shaq Mason, J.C. Jackson's gone. Who do they have to play corner? They don't have a corner. And they still haven't gotten any weapons for Mac Jones, who really you would feel needs more weapons out on the outside to really complete that. And I know you go, oh, the draft. They don't have a corner. Again, they don't have corners. Their linebacking core needs some work. They traded Winovich, so their pass rush is a little iffy. I'm really confused in what Belichick's doing right now. I'm not really sure what the whole plan is unless they're really going to run it 30 times and think their defense is going to hold it again, because it's kind of strange what they're doing. I do think they're a big loser. I also think Dallas is a big loser.
Yes.
Dallas has lost 2 receivers now. Very important. I know me and you talked about Amari in a different video, and if you haven't seen that, go back. We debated back and forth how important Amari Cooper really was, and we really landed on Dalton Schultz being a big step-up reason as to why they traded away Amari. Losing Cedric Wilson's big, though.
Yes.
I think they really thought they were going to get Gallup and Wilson, and that's why they let Amari go. They were going to pay 2 to let go of 1, and now they don't have Wilson anymore. Not only that, they need O-line help, and they lost Connor Williams, who I think is a little overrated, but they still lost him. They're going to lose La'el Collins at some point because they're really shopping him around, wanting to save that salary, and they've lost Randy Gregory now. This team's losing a lot of key players, and they don't really have a good way to get those back unless they hit home runs in the draft, which they've been doing. But sometimes that can run out. It's hit and miss. Don't really know what the Cowboys are doing right now, because if they keep taking away weapons around Dak's going to kind of turn into that pumpkin that he can become when you see all these injuries happen. And that really concerns me.
Completely agree. I had Patriots and I had Cowboys written in my loser column. The Cowboys to me have been maybe the biggest loser. They have lost so many pieces, and I don't think that they were prepared for this. I don't think that Randy Gregory deserved the money that he got, to be honest with you. But just losing him hurts. And they don't have the depth on that team to be losing pieces the way they are. And Michael Gallup's gotten hurt. If he gets hurt this year, their receivers become terrible. It's CeeDee Lamb, and that's it. So they have a lot of issues for a team that already has so many question marks. I think in Dallas, they're right now sitting there saying, what the hell is going on? I completely agree. The Dallas thing is just really weird to me, and they are a big-time loser. No doubt about that, as well as the Patriots.
Yeah, you can count Tyron Smith to miss about 4 games a year at this point, too.
Yep.
And so them possibly losing La'el Collins like they are, that's 2 tackles right there. They're really shedding a lot over these Zeke and Dak deals that they had to do. And now DeMarcus Lawrence is getting another set of guaranteed money too. They're paying these people so much money. And to be honest, I can see it happening in the future as well, because I think they're going to pay Micah Parsons and Diggs over time. And this is just how Dallas builds themselves. And it really falls apart once those deals all come together, because you're paying 6 people the majority of your cap. And you have to really worry about those 6 carrying you. And I think it's gotten them in trouble. You want to talk about Wentz and the Commanders right here and then get up out of here? Because I think the Commanders made a big splash doing this. Me and you are bigger Wentz fans than most people are. I'm not going to sit here and say I know what happened in the locker room, because that's a lot of things going around. He's not a great locker room guy. So I'm not going to sit there and say that I know exactly whether that is or not. But talent-wise, the Commanders really upgraded at quarterback in a year that's kind of hard to upgrade at quarterback unless you're getting a Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
He's much better than Heineke. He has a legit number one receiver in McLaurin. He has a legit running game with Gibson. I think it's a solid move by the Commanders. I think they really could make a run at this division, which is a weaker division in the league. How do you feel about it?
I think that other than obviously Wilson and wherever Watson goes, they got the best quarterback available, without a doubt. And we didn't even think that he was going to be available. I think that it's a massive head scratcher what Indianapolis did. And now they're sitting there with no one at quarterback. And Washington clearly upgraded. And Wentz has had a time or two of getting injured. Well, guess what? They still have Heineke, who was a good backup, not a starter, backup. If he has to come in for a couple games, that's totally fine. They thought they were going to lose McKissick. They didn't. He ended up coming back. They still have McLaurin. They still have Logan Thomas. To me, they have done really well. And if Wentz is on, man, and we know Wentz is talented. Things have just been off the last couple of years. And this year, again, he really was really unfair for how the things went. 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, one of the best passer ratings, really good QBR, all the good completion percentage. Just had a couple last games that were rough. Not just him, the whole team, and he was the scapegoat. If things are on like he was this year with that talented defense, I'm completely with you. I think Washington can win the whole division, and I think that they possibly have found their QB for the next 5, 6, 7 years if things can go well. I think Ron Rivera is a good coach that can butt well with Wentz, and I think he can kind of talk to Wentz just like he did with Cam. And not saying they're identical players, but I just think that it works well. Me and you are different. We like Wentz a lot more than others. I have not given up on him. I think that this is going to work well.
Yeah, completely agree. I think that's a good place to end it right here. So
Yeah.
we're gonna cover a lot more of these free agency moves when Kayvon gets back off vacation. I want him to go enjoy himself and everything out there at the beach. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down all the moves. We should have some Deshaun Watson clarity coming up here. Jimmy G could be on the move after that.
Yeah.
We could see that happening. The Colts still don't have a quarterback. Who knows what's going on with them? So we've got that. We'll break down the Browns with Baker. We'll definitely talk that. And we'll talk some more in-depth about some of the moves that we talked about here, like really scheme fit stuff. Just break it down, you know how we like to do. So, yeah, we'll get into that. Maybe Matt Ryan's on the move. Deshaun gets there. You know, it's the offseason. It's like Christmas time for all the NFL teams. It's where your team does nothing but get better, in your opinion, and that's how it goes, unless you got Dallas or the Patriots. So we'll break that down next week when Kayvon gets back. We'll do a nice long pod for you, get it uploaded. But until then, hey, let's hear it for everybody. That's some good free agency going on.
Yeah, no, congrats to everyone's teams out there that's doing better. Yours definitely, Sean. So congrats to you all Jaguars fans. And seriously, week into next week, we're going to be putting out a ton of stuff because I'm going to get back and we're going to catch up on all of this. By then, we're going to have Deshaun Watson news, Baker news, everything. We'll really go through winners and losers. So Sean hit it on the nail there. Stay tuned for everything coming out next week and check out our March Madness preview as well. We talked about the first round. If you haven't checked that out before Thursday's games at noon. So thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, we'll do some more March Madness next week, and we'll have a draft pod next week. We haven't done a draft pod last two.
We're going
to get back to it next week and then finish it off through the draft. So that's what you're looking forward to us.
A lot going on. There's no doubt about that. Thank you for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter at MoneyDownPod. Follow Sean at DumpsterFireFan. Myself at Kayvon_sports. Enjoy your March Madness. Enjoy your free agency. We'll catch back up later next week. Thank you.